Welcome back to the DC Universe Protectors. The dynamic duo is reunited. Goldenboy joined along by myself, Optimus Tom, about to bring you guys through another action-packed episode of Crisis Watch, your #1 destination for anything Infinite Crisis related.
Yeah, that's right. It's always a pleasure to be here, of course, Protectors, and I am super excited because today we're going to be actually running through some awesome gameplay here, as always, as we're going to be doing regularly on Crisis Watch. If you actually purchase the Founders Pack, you're going to get access to Coast City. And today we're going to be taking a trip to the land of Aquaman and go to Coast City and have some fun there. So that certainly should be a fun one.
Well, definitely, and especially because we already looked at 2 marksman characters. Unfortunately, you weren't here for Cyborg. I know he's kind of a personal favorite of yours.
I can't believe you guys did that without me.
I know. I was actually yelling at Axeltoss the entire time for you. Don't worry about it. I think it might be a little bit better.
I saw. Yeah, of course.
But we also took a look at Gaslight Batman. But this time around, we got a chance to look at the Dark Knight himself, the Cape Crusader, Batman Prime.
That's right. I'm super excited about this one. Obviously, you know, Batman Prime, one of the best just characters in the DC universe. He is an expert martial artist, precise and efficient. Batman's explosive style, of course, is honed for the maximum impact.
That's also a very deceptive kind of character. Now, as we were playing around with him, at first I thought he was one of those assassin-type characters, like a Catwoman or potentially even a Flash, but he's actually a bruiser type. He synergizes extremely well. Watching Waiting, whenever he goes stealth, whether it be through his own skills or in one of those stealth fields, he activates a little bit of extra regeneration. He's going to be getting extra armor, both power and normal. His Batarang's going to be really great for singling out targets. If you hit them with it, they get a mark. If you attack them, it winds up stunning them on top of that. And as you said, expert martial artist, he's going to be using that ability to quickly apply on-hit effects, dish out a little bit of extra attack damage, and that cooldown gets reduced every single time you land one as well.
Yeah, and also martial arts, bear that in mind, is pretty good escape too, in case you get into a pretty sticky situation. You know, you can run away as best as you possibly can.
Of course, the martial arts are used defensively.
Yes, of course, and Cape Sweep, which, you know, it basically is just a AoE attack, just a regular sweep around. Pretty effective move, in all honesty, especially if you end up getting crowded, a bunch of enemies, and just overall an effective move.
Yeah, and you can't forget, too, Cape Sweep is a great dueling utility, because not only does it slow movement speed, but it slows their attack speed as well. So that means that you're going to get into a dueling situation, you can get those extra little attacks and slow down their own kind of combating, and it's going to turn things around, but not nearly as much as the Dark Knight is going to be able to do. That ultimate skill coming out from Batman is insane. He puts down a shroud, so you can't see him inside of it. He's going to increase his own statistics, and it pops his Watching Waiting passive ability, so you can get that extra armor, get that extra regeneration. He gains move and attack speed as well, so you can really jump down and just, well, take him out from the shadows.
Yeah, it also has a pretty cool effect, too, if you're inside of the Dark Knight Ultimate. Actually, I believe you hear, like, some laughter from Batman, like things that are kind of like throwing you off and all that. It's a great effect for a character such as Batman, without a doubt.
Well, I definitely can't wait to take Batman onto Coast City, because we're going to be going there once again, the dual lane map with the Doomsday device in the middle.
Yeah.
The Doomsday device, as we saw last Crisis Watch, it was a little bit difficult to activate, but when we did wind up activating, it absolutely obliterated the opposition. You know, Gaslight Joker, how he's big, beefy, and tanky. One shot from the Doomsday device just made him a pile of nothing but meat dust.
Wow, and that certainly is kind of scary, considering that the meat dust won't be very tasty. It'll be rather green and weird looking. So not the kind of I wouldn't even know what meat dust looks like. I don't even know where to go from there with that one. But
well, hopefully I'll be able to show you when we get into the gameplay.
Show me the meat dust.
we're not going to quite get into any meat dust or gameplay quite yet. We actually have Axslav with us this week. Axeltoss, unfortunately, is on vacation. Yes. Shame on you. You're not doing awesome Infinite Crisis stuff with us. But Axelav's going to have an interview with Chris Clay, one of the game designers, of course. He's going to be going through and talking about Batman, giving us some tips and tricks before we jump into Coast City map and take him on a spin our own. I think we're both going to wind up using him in different ways. One of us is going to try to take him into the lane, while some of us are going to be taking him into this urban waste, that jungle area. We're going to be able to farm up the neutral minions, the neutral drones, and just kind of jump out and use his Dark Knight utility to maximum effect.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. You know, I think I'm going to take the laning.
I'll take the urban waste.
My jungle skills not that good, and especially with a bruiser. You know, I'm more of the marksman kind of character. That's what I like to do, and it's going to be a little difficult for me to have to get used to a bruiser. But you know what? Anything for you guys here at Crisis Watch.
All right, guys, so we're going to pass on over to Axslav. When we come back, we're going to have an interview with him and Chris Clay discussing the Dark Knight himself, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Nick Axslav Ranish, and I'm here with Chris Clay, the lead champion designer here from Infinite Crisis to go over some of my Batman Prime play on Coast City. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. Glad to be back here.
Right, so we're here in the loading screen, and I'm of course playing Batman Prime. I noticed recently there have been a lot of changes with the new abilities you can get, the stolen powers. Can you tell me about which ones probably work best with Batman Prime?
Yeah, so there have been some new stolen powers introduced into the mix, and then there's the concept of the unique stolen powers that each champion gets. You know, it really depends on your team composition and what you're going to be doing with Batman. I mean, if you're going to be going into lane, Trap can play a nice role in just zoning out sections of the map. Super speed is always a great choice for melee characters to get into range and stick there. Depending on what your lane partner might be doing, you know, picking up those surveillance devices just to get more vision of the map and protect from jungle ganks. Really, the thing we've been working on there is just getting it to the point where all of them have their own viability depending on what you're going to do. You know, where you're going here with the invulnerability and the trap, definitely a good combination for Batman.
I mean, so Batman is a melee character primarily, so if you can use a trap to stop someone from retreating from you, that's probably the idea behind the trap. Or how are some different ways you can use that trap on the lane, let's say?
I mean, the trap can be used in a lot of different ways. One of the primary ones is just giving you a section of the lane where your opponents aren't going to be able to go for a little while. It helps you, gives you a zone of control in your lane. You can also use it as a surprise if you drop it down in a stealth pad, get an advantage and get a jump to initiate, a gank when somebody gets out of position. You can use it sort of as an early warning device by blocking off one of the lanes coming, or one of the entrances into your lane from the jungle. There's a lot of ways you can use it, and it's been really interesting, now that Coast City is live, seeing how people are adapting to the new skills and where they're using it. They're coming up with some really creative stuff.
So one of the big differences in Coast City right off the bat is you'll notice that you start out at level 1, so you can only pick out a single skill, whereas in the other map, of course, you could start out with 3 different skills. This, of course, makes you choose which skill to start with. For Batman Prime, which of his 3 skills do you think is the best way to open up with?
Yeah, so for Batman Prime, and pretty much for most characters, you do want to start with the Q skill. They are designed so that the Q skill is sort of their basic utility skill. It's the skill that you want to use the most often, so picking it up first is usually the right choice. For his passive, it's Watching Waiting. This gives him additional armor, power, and attack armor, and this speaks to what Batman does. He likes to hide in the shadows. So when you're hiding in stealth pads, you're just stronger. When you're hiding in stealth pads, that bonus to your attack armor and power armor is doubled. You also, while you're in those stealth pads, will get a heal over time. You need to stay in the stealth pad for that to continue to take effect, but it's a big part of his sustain. For his Q skill, for Batarang, it's his general harass. It's targeted, so it's fairly easy to use, and it helps set up his martial arts skill, which is W. You can also use it for basic attacks to proc it, but you can throw off the Q, get some damage, mark the target, and then go in to stun them with either martial arts or just a basic attack. Cape Sweep is just good AoE damage and some debuffs to the people that get hit. And his ultimate is a really fun skill because it puts down basically a stealth area where when Batman's inside it, he gets bonuses above and beyond what he normally gets when he's in a stealth pad. It also buffs him, so he's going to be attacking faster, and it blocks vision to the outside for opponents that are in it. So it forces them to come into his stealth area, come into his arena to deal with him, and also isolates them when he's using it aggressively.
Okay. So we see I open up here with the Q in this game, and I'm trying to use that stealth pad to heal myself back up, and there's 3 of them at the bottom lane and 2 of us. So is it smart to kind of just try to stay back and maybe pick out people with the Q when you can, or is there a better way where maybe you can get some more utility out of Batman?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the red team, they've got dominance in the map because on your lane, they just outnumber you. So you're going to need to be a little bit more conservative trying to get those last hits on the minions to get a little bit more gold out of it. Trying to keep the wave off of your tower so the tower is not reducing the credit value that you're getting out of those coins is definitely going to be important. And more than anything in this matchup, it's trying to wait out this early game and stay in lane, get the experience going so that you can take advantage of the fact that you're going to level faster than your opponents will and turn that to your advantage. Or they might just help you out by diving the turret and giving you an early kill.
Turret's always pretty strong.
Yeah. Doomsday got a little over aggressive there.
Yeah,
but
that's in character, right?
Yeah, already, at this point, your Gaslight Batman is level 3. You're a level up on the enemy laners. With that early kill, you guys have a gold advantage. So pretty soon here, you should be able to start turning this more to your advantage if they don't get some early kills here. And it doesn't look like they're primed to do that.
So one thing that seems very, very important on Coast City, as opposed, is basically the gold. Because the game goes a little bit longer, you're not fighting for points so much in the early game because towers, of course, are going to be strong in the early game. And there's 3 ways it seems to get gold besides kills, assuming you can't get that kill. And it's getting the last hit on the creep, picking up a gold coin from a drone that was killed basically by some other source, or of course if a tower kills that drone. And can you go over like the differences in how much more effective one is than the other?
Well, I mean, really the most effective thing is to optimize each source that you can. So, getting as many early kills certainly is a huge advantage. We talked about not wanting to have your or the enemy minion line pushed all the way to your turret, because when a turret hits a minion, its gold value is reduced. So, keeping that line off your turret helps increase your gold flow. And in situations where you're going to be limited on some of the ready sources of gold from kills or from the drones in there, what you want to do is look at some of the investment items, some of the gambits, to help supplement your gold over time.
Okay.
If you need to be a little more passive.
Yeah, I think so far just been hitting the recommended item buy. Of course, that's the easiest way to open out. For this map, because of course there is so much gold gathering throughout a good chunk of the game, would you recommend people open with those gambits?
Yeah, it really depends on who you're playing. On Batman, it might not make quite so much sense to go that route. It's more if you've got one of the support characters in the lane. If you've got a Zatanna or a Poison Ivy, they may benefit more from going down that path. For Batman, getting some attack damage, getting some defensive items is most likely going to be the right choice, unless you really get gold starved. And at this point, you're really not being gold starved, so not going down that path is probably the right choice.
So there it seems I got ambushed by a vampire Batman. Would that have been, when I was low life like that, I knew he was lurking, is that the ideal time to start placing some traps around to keep yourself safe?
Yeah, getting some traps down and, hiding under your turret a little bit until your lane partner could get back down to support you, so that if you did go all in like that, at least he would hopefully get a kill in response.
Okay. Now, as you see, I'm starting to level up a little bit. And with Batman Prime, at first I thought it's probably a good idea to put 1 in each skill, but then you start having to choose, is there any skill you should focus on the most? Should you really level up the passive? How would you recommend people level up their Batman Primes to get past level 3?
Yeah, so this is one of those things where it's been really interesting watching what's developed just in this first week of Coast City being live, because just in the first day of it being live, the players had put in more playtime on the map with characters than we were able to in the months leading up to it, and people are discovering new optimizations all the time. Because the Q is so good at harass in the early phase, I tend to focus on that. There may be better strategies out there, but I would definitely start with the Q, because it lets you poke at your enemies from a relatively safe place.
And it's a guaranteed hit as well. So here we're seeing the trap being placed down. I think the goal is to try to ambush Gaslight Batman. Then if he runs into a trap, he can finish off the kill.
Yeah, yeah, the other thing that could have potentially helped you there is one of the things you can do with Batman is when you fling off your Q and mark them, that mark's going to stick around for a little bit of time. And if you can get the timing down, you can throw off your Q, wait for that mark to sit for a bit, get your Q cooldown down, dash in with martial arts, stun them, throw off your Q again, stun them again, and with that sequence and how you threw the trap down towards his retreat path, you can keep him locked down for a good period of time. Getting one more stun in there probably would have sealed the deal.
Okay, so you're saying you can use what I was doing is using the Q first, then the W, the dash in and martial arts skill.
Yeah, I mean that's the basic combo there
Okay.
for Batman. It's really simple and easy to use. Going a little bit more advanced is throwing that Q off and not going in right away, but giving your Q time to cool down a bit, so that you can then apply it again after you go in with martial arts.
So it's like a QWQ instead of just a QW.
Yep.
Okay, and then of course you throw the E in there as an additional stun or slow, I
Yep.
guess. Yeah. The one thing I've had trouble with in this round, of course, is trying to figure out the use of the ultimate. And I mean, you talked about what it does earlier when we were talking about its abilities, but now they actually have it. What are some of the best times to utilize it? Let's say in maybe like a 2-on-3 or 2-on-2 fighting over lane.
Yeah. The thing that it can let you do is, in a uneven situation where it's 2-on-3 or 2-on-4, is isolate somebody or a couple people from the rest of their teammates, because once that goes down, only people inside of that are going to be able to attack you, and it will force the enemy team to come inside of the ult in order to see you, attack you, whatever. So you can use it quite effectively to isolate people and just reduce the amount of damage you're taking because they can't even see you to do it. On Coast City, it can be extremely useful in taking a power relay, especially if you're being aggressive and going after the opponent's power relay, because you can throw that down if they're coming in, and they're just not going to be able to hit you with anything targeted until they actually enter the stealth field. And when you're in there, you can see out of it just fine because you're Batman. And
So you could still dodge a
jump on them.
projectile or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, some of the exceptions there being, if Gaslight Batman throws in his Sonic Shell and marks you, you will be revealed. But he's not going to be there every time.
Yeah, and you'll, since you can see out, you can see that coming in and potentially get out the way at least and run right back in.
I mean, also useful as an escape if you are, in an emergency situation, just breaking up, sight lines from your opponents.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's a little bit more of a technical skill than it's not just you click a guy you want to kill and you use your ultimate on him. You have to kind of use it more positionally, I guess. One thing I want to talk about, we've been talking a lot about Batman Prime, but we also should talk about, the new map, Coast City. So this map, there's kind of basically several important things to fight over. There's, of course, the lanes, and if you can eventually take a turret down or just get gold in the lanes. There's those power relays. There's one at the very top and two kind of in the middlest section, one each towards one other person's base. Then, of course, there's all sorts of creeps in the jungle, or drones in the jungle, excuse me. And also there's a doomsday device. So there's 4 different things competing for your attention. How should a team divide up the resources? Which are the most important things to focus on?
And this is one of the things that I love about Coast City is there are so many different ways to answer that question. I mean,
what's your favorite way? If you were the leader of a team, how would you?
One of my favorite strategies from that has been viable, both in live and when we're doing our own internal playtest on it, is going with the two junglers. So you've got somebody taking the top jungle, somebody taking the bottom jungle, and typically you'll have 2 in the top lane since it's the safer lane, and then 1 in the bottom. It can be very hard on the solo person on the bottom. You need somebody with really good wave clear, somebody like the Joker who can just kick out a lot of AoE damage, and you need somebody who's going to be strong in a place where they need to be fairly passive and not overextend. But if you can make that work, the level advantage it gives you is huge, and can lead to some really dominant mid-game play. Another variation is because the gap between the two top turrets is so narrow, going for a really aggressive early game up top, getting 3 people in that lane, and also focusing on getting the 2 power relays early can let you push that top turret down early and give you a huge advantage in terms of ganks up top and lane presence. So, I mean, those are just 2 very small variations that I like the best. There is always the tried and true standard of 2 top, 2 bot, and 1 in the jungle.
Okay.
One of the most novel things I've seen is some footage of a 2 jungler setup where they went with a support and a marksman, and they traveled around the jungle together, and that did far better than I ever would have expected it to. It was definitely a novel approach.
So the idea in that approach, I guess, is the marksman can kill the creatures in the jungle very quickly, and then the support can keep them alive and give them that staying power throughout the jungle.
Yeah, in the case that I saw, you had Poison Ivy using her shield to basically protect the marksman from damage, and when you've got support character with CC showing up out of the jungle with the damage of a marksman, it can really ruin somebody's day if they don't have surveillance devices up to
stay alive,
protect.
Yeah. So you got your team divided up between the top lane, the bottom lane, and the jungle, and then all of a sudden, either the power relays become unlocked or the Doomsday device becomes active. Should those be the priority? Should you immediately go straight for the power relays and or the Doomsday device, or is it something where like, well, I'd rather just jungle a little bit more. Maybe it's not that important.
That's something that is still sort of fleshing out in terms of the overall meta of the game. I would say my impression at this stage is that the power relays are incredibly important. You need to make sure that you control yours in the early game, because if you get in a situation like you're at now, and you've got 2, your top lane is going to be able to push, or in the case where you're at, even with nobody up there, it's going to help preserve that lane.
Yes.
And if you can take all 3, the amount of pressure it puts on the enemy team to stay in lane frees you up to go after other objectives. More time in the jungle frees up your team to go push the Doomsday device, because your minions are pushing the lanes, and you can see what the other team is up to and grab those windows of opportunity to take the Doomsday device and then use that to go push down a turret.
So we can see here, I kind of made the error. I thought that green arrows across the top line was the power relay on our side unlocking. But really, the green arrow, the 2 power relays that kind of each near each team's base unlock very early. But the one at the top doesn't unlock until just right now. So that's something to keep an eye on. Is it valuable to try to kind of start pushing a top lane right before that top one is unlocked, so then you kind of control that area, you can easily take it?
Yeah, I mean, with all of the relays, keeping an eye on that timeline and being prepared to go in and take them when the opportunity presents itself is key. I mean, at this stage, the red team has a huge advantage in lane presence because they've got all 3 points, and you've got a good bit of time before those relays go down. So as a team, keeping an eye on things and trying to time it so that you can get in there and take them once they drop is going to be important. Going through 2 full cycles of them in control of all 3 will heavily swing the game in their favor.
And that's exactly what's happening right here for my team, so it's not looking so great for us. Of course, the cool thing about this map is it's not like you automatically lose because that happens. It's a definite advantage, something to look for, and the Joker just kind of destroyed
Your
me
Poison Ivy right there just left you totally out
there. Yeah.
to dry.
I thought we
like-
had a very easy kill there. I'm like, I just engage him, and then she puts a shield on me, and he's dead, right?
Yeah, and she's just like la-di-da-di-da.
Well, she pays for it now, probably, right? Oh, maybe not.
Oh, and now
Can't
that's
find her.
2 against 4, and
Yeah,
they're in trouble.
yeah. So right now they're fighting over control. Basically, whoever wins this engagement will be able to take that Doomsday activation. When you get that Doomsday activation, let's say you're in their team's shoes right now, right? You just killed the 2 people. You can go ahead and grab that Doomsday. I think it was active during that part, was it? Unless I made a mistake. Where would you use it if you had it right now as the opposing team?
I think the place that I would take it is I would take it into that top lane and push down that second layer of turret. At that point, you're really close to being able to trap the other. They're really close at that point to just trapping you in your base, not giving you access to the relays or the jungle. So I would definitely focus on that. It seems like they're focusing there even without the Doomsday device. So
yeah, with all the relays, their drones are much stronger than ours, and so it kind of the whole tower support is kind of neglected if there's so many drones just taking all that tower damage. Is that something that anytime you let's say doubled up drone waves, is that right when you want to go ahead and push?
I mean, yeah, when you start building up drone waves, it is the perfect opportunity to go in and push and try and take down those objectives. So at this point, the relays are freed up, and your whole team is about as far away on the map as they can get from the relays. So it looks like they're going to get another triple. Yeah, definitely going for their side at this point. Making a beeline there because you can tell at least one is up top, at least one is at yours.
Yep.
Just to prevent them from getting both lanes with the powered up drones would be a very good idea.
So right here is basically a lack of foresight from
right. So this would be a great opportunity to dump down your ult. You dump your ult on him. As soon as you dump your ult on him, he can't actually see out of the power relay. You can still see in at him. Or even like where you were at there, where you were inside there, he can't see you at that point, and it gives you a great advantage just in visibility.
So against a hero like Green Lantern, someone who's really needs that vision and the range to kind of stay away from you and pick at you.
Yeah, I mean
that's the ideal spot.
Yeah, with all of his targeted skills and so much of his damage coming from his targeted skills, he definitely is hamstrung when you take away his vision like that.
Okay, so I kind of used it later in the battle, but I really should have just probably opened with that, right? So
and initiating there would have been a good choice.
Yeah, of course, totally neglecting his ability to weaken me.
Yeah, I mean in terms of items, like where you're going, things that I typically do, some of them similar to marksman builds, starting with the Claw of Horus. Claw of Horus is just great in terms of what it gives you. It gives you armor, it gives you some attack damage, it gives you some lifesteal. Lifesteal is very good on Batman because he has very high armor from both attack armor and power armor. And when you get sustain on him, the armor just magnifies the effectiveness of that lifesteal. So Claw of Horus can be a really good bet. Depending on what the enemy team is building, grabbing the axe and using it to pen through their tanks and using its buff as you start getting hurt can help you, swing out of some very close fights. It's a really good dueling item.
One thing I want to touch on that you talked about just now is how lifesteal is more effective the higher armor you have. And that's something I think a lot of people don't think of when they talk about lifesteal. And the reason why is because if you have a certain amount of damage, you're going to get a certain amount of basically life back with the lifesteal. And the life, each hit point of your life is worth a lot more the more armor you have because it'll go further. And I think a lot of people kind of say, okay, I just want to strictly buff my attack if I'm going for lifesteal, so I steal more life. But going for the armor is actually another way to make it more effective.
Yeah, going for Ra's al Ghul's cloak, which gives you a bunch of attack and power armor, can definitely be good on Batman as one of his defensive items. mean, you can build him all attack, but he is pretty squishy at that point, and getting a good blend of the two can certainly help. Just let you stick and be a continual presence there.
So I mean, I've gone for mostly attack here, although I guess the
Lobo's chain.
Yeah, it's kind of a split where you get a little bit of life as well as attack. But maybe with the katana, it would have been better to instead get either a life and armor item instead of that, or what do you think on the Lobo's chain in that mix?
Sorry, you broke up a little bit there. I didn't hear that.
Oh, I was saying, so if I already have the Soul Taker's katana, what do you think about the Lobo's chain? Was that a good pick, or should I go for maybe something that adds both armor and life instead of damage and life?
I mean, Lobo's chain is a really good pick on a bruiser just because it helps you lock somebody down. I mean, getting that slow on them keeps them from getting away. So it's never that it's the wrong pick. It's on Batman, you don't necessarily need the slow. It's a pretty safe path to take, but you can get a little bit more out of some of the more offensively focused items. Being a split item, it isn't quite as effective as two individual, an attack focused item and then a defensive item. Its utility, costed something.
So is that generally true with all the items? That, let's say, if you have a ton of money and you want to get both strict attack damage and strict life, let's say, you're generally better off buying one item that's just attack damage and one that's just life?
I don't know if that's always true. It's more of in the case of Lobos.
Okay.
Just because you're paying for that slow, and a character like Batman doesn't necessarily need it since he has so many ways to stick on an opponent. So it will certainly help prevent people from getting away. But with the offensive build, even with the Lobos, you don't quite have enough staying power to stick on them a long time if they're really focusing on you.
So for me, the problem isn't them getting away. It's more me staying alive long enough to actually kill them.
They get away by killing you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to escape, right? There's no danger, there's no enemy. So right now, in the current situation, things I feel like have probably swung a little bit back in our favor. We now have 2 of the power relays as opposed to 0. And both players are very vulnerable as far as most of the turrets on the map are dead. In this late game situation, what's the best kind of split up of people? Should you even have anyone jungling at this point? Should you have most people push one lane, or what's the best division of forces?
I mean, at this point, well, especially since you've got Joker caught out there, finishing him off would be great. But doing what you're doing and pushing that bot lane, since you've got 2 of the power relays, your minions are going to frustrate them trying to do the same in the top lane. Going in there as a group, it looks like your Green Lantern has basically gone link dead.
Yeah, he was. I think he was AFK for.
Yeah, but if you could go in there as a 5-man and just push down their turret and win, while they can't as easily do the same on the top, definitely a good idea.
So I made a big mistake there when my 2 teammates were chasing down Joker. I was like, well, let me see if I can work on his turret. But then their whole team spawned there, and it probably wasn't a good idea to go in there on my own, right?
Yeah, sticking together at this point in the match, and once you get up towards the 25 to 30 minute mark, respawn times are taking longer. The match is starting to come to its final conclusion. So staying together as a group, not getting caught out. I mean, the Joker made the mistake on the enemy team of getting caught out, not returning the favor by doing the same for his teammates.
I want to keep it even, keep a balanced game, right?
Yeah.
That was the thought process.
That's so generous.
So one really good thing I was actually wondering about, right, in this situation where you said, you can, if you have a bunch of people pushing one lane, you can quite easily kind of come in there and maybe end the game. At this point, is it worth it, the time to take these power relays, or should we just totally focus on trying to end the game right now?
With the amount of time that they're going to be down, I'm not sure you could have finished it. So, taking this point, keeping that setup where you guys have an advantage in the bottom lane because your top lane is just going to push for you, I think is probably the right choice.
Okay. So now we'll have, of course, the power relay advantage, and that'll
Yep,
maintain the advantage you talked about with the top lane pushing.
Yeah. Now you've got two, and yeah, like Snoobins is talking about, now it's time to finish it. So this is where
He's eager.
Group up everyone together and go push that bot lane.
So that would it be better for, let's say, me and Poison Ivy to head down bottom, or should we kind of do a two? Is there any point in doing a two-pronged attack? Is question.
Yeah, I mean, here's where it comes down to, there are so many ways you can play it at this point. So, pushing that top lane, getting those 2 turrets is going to get you additional gold from taking the turrets down. You're going to get additional gold from just pushing the minion waves. And if you can push down all of their turrets, clearly that's going to be a sizable advantage because then you're hitting them from both angles. It comes down to whether you're going to take the gamble of trying to finish it in one fell swoop, or you're playing for more the long-term game. So taking those additional turrets down on the top lane is more of the long-term view rather than the very aggressive, let's finish it now.
Probably the most important thing, though, is to kind of do what your teammates are doing, right? So even if I'm playing long-term, they're playing short-term, it's me who's making the error of not kind of doing the team player thing and all. I guess the idea is it better to even, let's say, do something that maybe you don't want to do, but you're doing it as a team as opposed to doing what you want to do on your own?
Yeah, I mean, sticking with your team, often the right choice, even if they're not doing something that you necessarily agree with. Just because the amount of power you can bring to bear if you're all there.
Yeah.
So, and really what it looks like here is it comes down to the fact that you guys were down Green Lantern, and I think you're playing better than the red team. You're doing a better job of taking the strategic objectives, but they just have more manpower.
They're definitely pushing across the top, with a lot of force here. We do have some aggression going on in the bottom lane. So in this situation, should I just be focused on trying to defend our home base here from this top invasion?
If you can keep their Doomsday and their Gaslight Batman away from defending, it could definitely be worth it. It looks like they're basically camping that power relay, waiting for it to flip so they can gain the drone advantage.
Is this something where is it worth it for me to try to fight for this at all, or if there's 2 of them, should I just give it up? Well, it looks like they just actually walked away. So.
Yeah, I mean, as Batman, you're best when you're in a stealth pad. So hiding there and letting them initiate, so to speak, letting them get themselves in trouble. I don't think you can take that by yourself.
Yeah, I was hoping. I thought they were heading this way, so I was hoping I would backstab them.
There he is.
But it's we'll see. Oh, did he not see me? I thought he would have seen me walking into South Pad, but I guess that's a relative. I should.
There you
that,
go.
shouldn't I?
That's.
Was that a good use of the ultimate right there or not?
Yeah, the ult probably wasn't necessary there.
I mean, it gives you a little more move speed, but like you said, I probably would have had him anyway, right?
Yeah, once your QW combo came up, you were going to finish him off.
Okay, so it was kind of just a pure waste there.
Yeah, I mean, his bat flight is exceptionally strong. Uh-oh. So you guys took it, but you didn't go and pick up the little nugget?
That's what it took me a little while to figure out how to make that thing work. So we basically, whoever comes there next can pick it up and use it on whatever they want to, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's not very good.
with that huge minion or drone wave built up, now is the time to push this lane.
And we could have killed this turret even without the Doomsday easy. Then we could save it for when we actually get to the last layer of defense.
Though they're taking that top power relay now, so this is your advantage. You've got the big wave. Take this turret down, carry it through into their base turret, and if Gaslight Batman can come in from the bot lane to help you finish this. Yeah. So the base turret is down.
I think we got that earlier when you were pushing the bottom.
Yeah. Can you do enough damage to it in the time you've got left? Oh. And
In this situation, when is it good to just go for that, the power core instead of?
well, part of it is they only had was it the three characters up. They had Green Lantern, Joker, and Gaslight Batman. So in theory, it's a good time to go in and push that. Part of the problem is because they got those two power relays, their powered up drones were spawning there, and they can dish out a ton of damage. So as soon as your minion wave or your drone wave was eliminated, it was probably time to back out.
Okay, a little bit over eager there, bloodthirsty. Not a good characteristic for a watching and waiting champion like Batman Prime. Actually, probably not a good characteristic for any champion in this game.
Yeah, and Soul Taker Katana is a very good item to grab on Batman.
Okay, so I've got that fully leveled up. And it looks like I got the Chill Revolver and Lobo's Chain and a few others. So when I'm going for this pure attack style of doing Batman Prime, I mean, maybe it's not the best style, but I've already gone for it anyways. When we're looking at engagements, should my role be to just go for whoever is their most damaging, squishy character, or should I still try to should I do something where whichever their character is threatening my teammate, should I go after him, or should I just go straight for like the Green Lantern or
Yeah, with the team composition that you guys have here, I would probably let Doomsday go in and initiate, and then once he's done that, using your ult, you can drop down two of them, using it to further isolate the enemy team from each other, being aggressive with that so that you can go in and kill their marksman, kill Green Lantern, kill Gaslight Batman. That's definitely part of your job. Get in there and finish off the more squishy characters. But also just the general disruption of you drop your ult
down,
and they just can't see each other anymore.
And it doesn't affect my team at all, right? They can see through it and perfectly fine. Or does it still affect my team? Can my team see through it? Because it makes it basically so I can see inside and outside of my ultimate. The opposing team can't. My team shares my vision with that, correct?
Yeah, this is one of those where now I'm blanking on the exact interaction. I'm pretty sure that it shouldn't negatively influence your team. Yeah. It should just be the enemy team that it.
I mean, normally anything you can see, your team can see just by
right.
Rule
I mean, at the very least, if you're inside of it, you're in the area, they're going to be able to see with your vision. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't. I mean, I would say as a philosophy, we try not to set up skills that
would mess up your own teammates.
Mess up your teammates, yeah.
So it looks like we may be in level at base race here. They're pushing across the bottom a lot. When I was pushing over the top, would have been better for me to run straight here instead of kind of delayed a bit, killing some of the drones.
You won the match, so I would say it worked.
It worked. Maybe if we got there faster though, it would have been because that was close, right? I mean, I was probably maybe 2 seconds away from dying there. But that wasn't really a victory that felt, like it was really a coherent victory. It's more like, I just popped up in their base and they weren't ready.
Yeah, though anytime you pull it off when you're down a champion, it's pretty impressive. So kudos on the 4v5.
So to wrap it up, can you go over a few things that I maybe did well with Batman Prime or with Coast City in general, playing as a map, and then a few things that I should focus on next time I play on that map or as Batman Prime as a champion?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I would say you would want to focus on is just how you're using your ultimate. Where you place that down in team fights and in individual fights and in ganks can make a big difference. Being a little bit more aggressive with it in terms of initiating the fight to isolate a character, especially somebody like Green Lantern who has a lot of targeted skills, it really will shut them down and give you a pretty huge advantage above and beyond all of the buffs it gives you. The other thing, something we talked about before, using that Q to harass and timing it so that when you're going in to trade, you have it up again very shortly after you dash in so you can use it again. And really getting good trades out of sequences like that. And finally, the other big thing I would change is just your item build. Focusing a little bit more tanky, getting some of those defensive items to improve how long you can be a disruptive force, in a team fight, especially with the composition you had. I mean, Doomsday is a really tough bruiser. Batman's a tough bruiser, but without a true tank on your team, going more down that tanky path would have been a good decision.
Awesome. Well, thank you a lot for your time, and we'll be right back after a short commercial break with more Crisis Watch.
All right, guys, welcome back here at Crisis Watch. Now we've heard how to utilize Batman. We're going to see if we can actually use him effectively now. We're going to be jumping down to Coast City. The duo lane map, of course, has the Doomsday device in the middle, has a lot of extra little capture points to increase your drone's strength. Gives you these little floating drones as well. I think we dubbed them Wally because they just kind of go around and clean up after everybody. Just mess everybody up.
That's awesome. I had actually no idea that you guys dubbed him Wally. Now I'm going to have to say that every single time I stream.
Well, the thing of it is they have like that big round central eye in the middle. Yeah. Even though they're like a pillar kind of floating monolith thing, I don't know. They just look so cute and cuddly.
Yeah. And so I do want to ask you, you intend on taking Batman through the urban waste. How do you plan on it? What are you looking to do, I guess, as far as effectiveness? How are you looking to be effective and help out your team?
Well, what I'm going to try to do with Batman in the urban waste is foremost, I need to try to get some sort of experience advantage that I'm not going to be getting in the duo lanes. Of course, Coast City having 2 lanes on the map is fantastic because there's a way for you to farm those drones pretty much unhindered or against the opponent in an even situation. But if you're going to be sharing the experience and sharing the lane with somebody else, you're not going to get yourself up to that level 6 and hit the ultimate as quickly as possible. My effectiveness in the urban waste is to try to hit level 6 as quickly as possible and then utilize the Dark Knight to wind up ganking in an advantageous situation for my own teammates so that they can further their own lane presence. The only problem is I'm going to have to see how he actually does against those neutral drones in the urban waste because I actually haven't been able to test out his effectiveness to the point where I know what ability is going to excel the most. I'm assuming that if I take my Batarang and utilize the mark that I'm going to be having off of that to deal extra attack damage, I'm going to be able to take down the big neutral drones quicker and therefore get myself that experience bonus I'm looking for. Okay,
so really looking forward to this one here. Of course, Batman is, just a very versatile character, I would say, even for a bruiser. He could really take advantage of things. So now tell me what you're doing here. What are you picking at for, what are you picking for your stolen powers, I should say?
Well, for my first stolen power, I'm definitely going to want to try to pick up, I think it's going to be Healing Wave or Consume. I'm assuming I'm going to wind up taking Consume because I can use it on enemy drones. Which means I can pop into a lane and keep myself healed up while shoving it a little bit more effectively in my team's favor or defending it a little bit if the drones are pushing towards us. But it's also going to keep me healed. So therefore, well, I'm not going to wind up being in a sticky situation in the urban waste myself. My second one, I'm looking at Batman's Trap because come on, it's Batman's Trap. That's going to be triggering when enemies step on them. They're going to be rooted in place and revealed, so I'm going to be able to maybe get a jump on somebody. But I'm not quite comfortable with that yet. As we saw in some of the marksman characters, if you are a little bit squishier, you're going to want to go for that super speed to keep your distance between yourself and everybody else. So I'm probably going to wind up taking my super speed here.
You got to go with the Arkham City skin, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
All right, Arkham White Batman.
Just saying.
I'm going to tell my team I'm juggling the urban wastes. And everybody's going to be like, what are the urban wastes? I'm going to say Hoboken.
That was a good one. Okay. So any Jersey people in here, you're probably really angry with Tom right now. I don't blame you. You know what I mean?
I'm from Jersey myself, so it's first-hand experience.
Oh, I feel bad for you.
Well, and according to the official DC Wikipedia, so is Batman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, they cornered that Gotham City was somewhere off of the coast, somewhere between Hoboken and Delaware. Even though most of the time it's been portrayed as New York City, and then of course you have Metropolis is Chicago.
Yeah, that is actually pretty weird that they say it's like in the New Jersey area. But you know what though? I mean, it's okay. I'll accept it. I mean, I always was a believer that it was Manhattan, that Gotham City was New York City.
I'm assuming so as well. I don't know if you know, but if you drive across, you drive through the Lincoln Tunnel and you wind up parking right at Port Authority right there, you got Gotham Storage Center right there.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And like, actually, if I'm correct, people oftentimes do refer to New York as Gotham.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's a discussion for another day. All right, we have our teammates here. Who we have? We have Flash. We have Gaslight Catwoman.
We got my girl Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy, and Vampire Batman alongside the awesomeness that is Arkham City.
Wow, I got the coolest
Batman.
intro, I think.
Dude, Arkham City Batman, I just love the skin. In case you guys aren't aware, Arkham City is one of the best games out there, period. If you're a fan of Batman, definitely check it out. So that's where this skin comes from. I'm glad to see that synergy between the two. So what are you purchasing here?
All right, well, I'm going to be picking up my nil weapon first. This is going to be giving me extra health, 10 attack damage, and on basic attack, I'll regain 5 of my own health. So this means, of course, I'm going to be able to keep myself sustained in the urban waste, just in case, because I don't know how powerful these drones are going to be at destroying my health bar. I picked up 5 health packs. Now, this is a common start in a lot of MOBAs. If you're going to be going into a jungling kind of situation, which is normally what these areas are referred to as, because, well, you have your 2 lanes right here. Here's the top lane. Here's the bottom lane, and everything in the middle, well, that's the unknown. That's just like a jungle. So we're going to wind up going in here, and I'm going to first wind up seeing how much damage they wind up dealing to me. So I'm going to make sure I got my health packs right here, have my nil weapon, and let's see if I can wind up going in and dismantling some enemy drones. I've already picked up my Batarang, so I'm going to have to wind up, first off, finding them. And there we go. The drones have gone online. I'm actually going to be a little bit risky here. I'm going to start off by going into the enemy side, and I'm going to see if I can maybe put myself in an advantageous situation by taking away the enemies.
Okay, so right now going for the drones. And now, are you expecting anyone to try and push you on the jungle? I mean, you are in the enemy side here, so the chances are that that could be a very strong possibility, right?
I definitely kind of anticipate it. One of the things that I did was by using this Consume, you can use it against the neutral drones. So what you saw me doing right there was using Consume, not only to keep myself healed up while I was soloing the giant drone, but also to keep myself alive while it was still there. So by doing so, I took it down a lot quicker, and I'm able to move on to the next camp.
Very interesting. I actually didn't know that you could consume the smaller drones, or at least the neutral drones. I didn't know that that was a possibility, so that's actually pretty awesome there. And now, these, what you're attacking here, this is basically just all gold that you're getting, golden experience to level up, correct?
Definitely. So this is golden experience that no one else can be able to take from me unless they're passing by. My team, in the meantime, they're taking a little bit of pain and punishment because the enemy side does not have a jungler. They do not have someone in the urban waste. So therefore, they are at a disadvantageous situation currently. However, I am going to be able to get the jump on people by, like I said, by utilizing the fact that I can farm up in here, get myself to a decent point where I have my abilities where I want them to be, and then jump on them in a situation where maybe I could jump on the bottom lane and they're not going to expect me to be there. Maybe I could go to the top lane and even things up. We'll have to see. Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of pressure I'm seeing from that bottom lane there. Vampire Batman's holding him off, though. I believe I see about 2 guys, maybe 3, charging top lane. Could be wrong on that one, of course, but, you know, because they're always dipping in and out of the urban waste there, so they're going to be concealed. But there you can actually see. So now, Tom, seems like you're going to go in for a jump, perhaps, or maybe try and heal up first. What's the plan?
Well, the best part is by using my watching, waiting passive, I'm walking through all the stealth fields so I can get that extra healing regeneration to see if I want to jump on an already low HP Gaslight Joker. Problem is, I would wind up going behind enemy lines here. So what I think I'm going to actually do is just keep myself safe for now, walk over towards these neutral drones, and try to keep myself alive for a little bit longer, just or keep myself farming and see if they maybe extend towards my own tower, I can walk through the opposite side and then get the jump on them. But it looks like my team, they can handle them pretty easily right there.
Nice. That's actually good to know there that your teammates came up clutch on that play. So that was a pretty sound strategy, though. And obviously because, you know, at that point, the Gaslight Joker would have to be a little cautious knowing that, hey, where is the 4th guy? Why is he nowhere on the screen? You know, then that pretty much alarms you or alarms the player into thinking, okay, I got to drop back. I need to play a little bit more defensively. And then when you get in that mindset, that's when your teammates can really go for the pounce there and take advantage of it because that player's acting, you know, way too passive for his own good, especially with a character like Gaslight Joker that's a pretty meaty character and also just a super effective character.
All right, well, that drone right there is kicking my butt. So what I'm going to wind up doing is I'm actually going to recall right now, and I'm going to see if I can get myself a little bit of extra attack damage. Because one thing is these neutral drones, they're a lot more difficult to take down than the normal drones. However, they also yield a little bit better results as for gold, as for experience. I'm actually going to maybe go for the Coda Blade first to get some early armor and armor penetration as well as attack damage, so I can keep myself, you know, on par with the enemy champions. They're going to wind up building a little bit more defensively. Like we saw, they have a Gaslight Joker. Like we saw, they have a Wonder Woman. So I'm going to want to try to get through to their defenses. And since I am in the jungle and I might not be necessarily as powerful or as farmed as I would be in a lane situation. I want to try to counteract that as quickly as possible.
All right, so you're going to continue to farm here, go after these neutral drones. You see two of your teammates over by your top tower there, your second tower, if I'm correct, and they're not getting pushed. So actually, there is going to be one character up there. I am not entirely sure that is going to be Gaslight Joker alongside with Batman too. So you have also a Batman as well on the other team.
Yeah, but he's in the lane, so we'll have to see how effective this goes for him. Now I level up my martial arts here, so I got extra attack damage, and I'm of course going to be able to get those on-hit effects. I'm going to just walk in here and see what's up. I see a car, so let's see if he engages.
I love the fact that he went into the stealth zone with the car, went stealth with the car in his hand,
yeah,
and then came out again. That's awesome.
Those stealth fields are pretty powerful. Now we see this Batman here utilizing his watching waiting passive while my team is not kind of going for the throat against him. He's just waiting in here, getting his own health regeneration up, so he can be more effective if they get into a trade situation. Now this is what I'm doing here, is called being extremely patient. Well, this wound up opening up as a path towards the Doomsday device, so now it's actually a gank path for any jungler as well. What I really want my team to do is try to bait something out of here. Since the Gaslight Joker's low, I think we could take him out if they push too far, but they're being very, very cautious over here. And the thing is, I don't really have a gap closer, a way to jump on them, so I need to wait for my team to get engaged on and then see if I can make something out of this.
Yeah, there you go. Going to be moving in there to the Gaslight Joker, able to take him out with ease there on that one. Great play, Tom. You're able to work with your teammates on that one. Now you see Vampire Batman, as a matter of fact, trying to get away. Oh, ended up getting caught by Vampire Batman.
Yeah, he's a little bit stronger than I am, so I'm actually going to pop my super speed and run away. See if my teammates are going to be as good as we were last time. I'm going to Duke in the stealth field, try to get myself a little bit of, there we go, a little longevity, just enough to get out of the clutches there. I survived with 25 HP.
That's crazy. Very smart play, though. I mean, so now you ran back into the field. How quickly do you regenerate that health? And how effective is it? Like, I guess it gave you that little moment of survival. I guess he didn't expect you to turn like that. But still, though, I mean, what's its effectiveness as far as health regeneration?
It's about 1% right there.
Wow, so 1% was able to stay alive on that one.
1% was just enough to keep me alive there. So I'm going to want to upgrade this Kodo Blade again, getting a little bit extra damage. And as we saw, I take a lot of damage right now. So I'm going to continue to get these health packs. And now I'm level 4. So the urban wastes in this map are maybe not as effective as the jungles would be in some other MOBAs, but as we saw throughout the course of the game, there's interactive, destructible environments. We have a gank path opened up in both lanes because, well, we wound up having all those barricades be blown away. So now situations that would have been safe a little bit earlier are no longer safe. So that kind of adds a little interaction to the jungle or the urban waste in this map. I'm going to see if I can wind up utilizing it now to maybe go down here on Wonder Woman.
They don't stand Yep, and you can actually see coming from the waist now. And, oh, there is going to be another Batman there. He ends up catching you. That's not going to be good. So now you have to get away here. You don't have your super speed. You have to try and dodge this, but you do go to your turret. So that was a very smart play there. And now you're simply just trying to use your Batarang there to keep him away, keep him at bay a little bit here. Your Vampire Batman dropping back. Your Poison Ivy dropping back. Overall, though, at least you guys survived that encounter.
Yeah, and, well, dodge the bat scream right there.
Gaslight Batman.
Alright, well now they're in a dive situation. This Batman tries to go on Poison Ivy. I'm going to see if I can maybe pick up a kill on him. I don't know. It's going to be close. I activate my martial arts, but... Oh, he hit level 6.
And the Wonder Woman was there as well. Oh, man.
Oh, man. He hit level 6, the crucial moment right there. He winds up popping down that Dark Knight, and as you saw, I couldn't see anywhere where he was going.
Yep. There you saw that effect, by the way, that I was talking about earlier with that Dark Knight ultimate. It's just a very, very effective tool, especially on the chase, right? That where you saw right there. I mean, he was able to get away largely because of that, and his teammate was on the chase as well. So, you know, the Wonder Woman, of course, closing that gap there. So I guess you're going to continue to just basically farm the urban waste now?
Yeah, I'm going to wind up trying to farm the urban waste as much as possible. So we wind up using my martial arts, get myself a little bit extra damage, some on-hit effects. And, well, I'm apparently not hitting this guy. The thing is with the neutral drones, because they are neutral and you don't necessarily want to fight them at all times, if you issue an attack move command like that, you will not attack something even though it's attacking you because it's still classified as a neutral drone. Whereas in other games it would be, let's say, if you were to walk through an urban waste area in a different MOBA with an attack move, you may automatically be drawn towards those jungle minions just because they're there. So this is actually both a benefit and a disadvantage. As you saw there, I kind of stopped in the middle of attacking. Thankfully, I was healthy enough I wasn't going to die or anything. However, it also benefits that if I were to attack move right here, I'm not going to be distracted by them, and I could go directly for an enemy champion.
Yeah, yeah. So that's actually a pretty sound, you know, thing there. You know, obviously, I mean, players have to get used to this. So now, here you go. So you hit level 5. What did you go for? What did you decide
I've got
to
more
upgrade?
points in my batarang because it's going to be super effective at potentially taking down primary targets. See if we can maybe get Gaslight Joker down here. Although their Batman is coming in as well, and looks like we might actually be a little bit on the retreat here. We did wind up losing our Catwoman, unfortunately, as there's too much Batman for one lane to handle.
Yeah, way too many Batmans. You have Vampire Batman, you have Batman Prime, and you have Gaslight Batman all on the same team. Just this is the only game where you can play 3 Batmans at the same time. So Vampire Batman going on the chase there. You're gonna have to drop back and hang out by the turret now. And hopefully, you know, your turret can take care of these drones for you here. Vampire Batman trying to move in. He is going to be batarang, though. You go for the cape sweep.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clear out these drones from my tower as quickly as possible. Looks like they did wind up getting the Doomsday device, so
Yeah.
I wanted to stay clear of that area. Now what I'm doing is, well, my Catwoman died, so she's no longer in this lane area, and the jungle, it worked pretty good for the early stages. However, I'm not getting as quickly farmed as I thought I was going to be, so what I'm going to be doing is heading into a lane now, trying to hit level 6 as quickly as possible, because I want to have that Dark Knight. I really can't fight this other Batman one-on-one. He has the level advantage, and he has that ultimate ability. Now that I have my own, let's see if maybe... Oh, Nightmare Batman's here. So, unfortunately, I got Feral Embraced, so I wasn't going to be able to pop my own ultimate there, my Dark Knight, to try to go invisible and avoid him. That's one of the things that assassins have over these melee bruisers, is normally have some sort of way to lock down their target and deal as much damage as possible.
That was pretty quick work there by that Vampire Batman, man, to just like close that one up. I mean, I totally didn't expect him to go in there with the Feral, but you know what? I mean, Vampire Batman, he's just one of those characters that he will piss you off so many times, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people watching right now that are like, yep, I've dealt with Vampire Batman. He's kind of a douchebag, you know? Like,
yeah, just a little bit there.
Know? But he's an effective character. He's just a very, very if you know how to use him effectively, man. I've played with plenty of people who are either really bad with Vampire Batman or they're amazing. I feel like there's no gray area with him. It's just it's just one of those things, one of those champions. But now you're going to be moving in here, trying to see if you can take out this Gaslight Joker. And oh, you're getting there on him. You're getting the chase on here. Able to close in with martial arts, a little quick cape sweep as well. Oh man, but that bat screen, definitely did not expect that one coming through. At least you have your Poison Ivy there for support though. That is going to do their best to try and help you out there right in the lane. Vampire Batman now moving down. Gaslight Batman's on the run here. It seems like your Vampire Batman's moving in, and you might be able to get this one here. So. Oh, man.
Oh, man. So we wound up getting the Wonder Woman, and there's a couple things I wound up doing there. When the bat scream went off, I couldn't dodge it. So I went back, and I consumed a drone. It healed me enough to get through the bat screen damage, so I didn't wind up dying to that one. Then when we wound up re-engaging, I kept popping down my Dark Knight as often as I could. The thing is, it has separate charges. So every 2 seconds, I can utilize a charge, and every couple seconds, a charge will come back up, or if I'm rewarded with a kill or something like that, I'll be able to get extra charges on that Dark Knight. So I used it off of the charges that I saved up from before. So I was able to get a second one down, and we would continue that chase and pick up another kill. Then I popped my super speed and went around to go after the enemy Gaslight Batman. Wonder Woman had a really great ultimate, taunting everybody in the area, but their Gaslight Batman, instead of running away to live, came back in, got a little bit greedy there, wanted to try to pick up a kill.
Yeah, well, now Wonder Woman's back on the engagement once again, and your Vampire Batman's getting absolutely thrashed. Oh, no, that's actually you.
That was me.
There's so many capes everywhere. It's so hard to keep track of it. But I tell you this much, though. The way that I see this here, you might have to drop back to your turret if you're not careful. Oh, man, another bat scream coming in from Gaslight Batman. That's the thing right there, man. That Gaslight Batman, that bat scream, you're so focused on the action that's going on in front of you that you can clearly see when that wave is coming through. But if you're not careful, and you're too focused on the screen at hand, you can end up tanking.
Yeah, well, I did pick up a Batman's utility belt, so I'm trying to get some cooldown reduction. I'm trying to get myself a couple defensive statistics here, because, well, I'm dying very quickly against their big bruiser, big damage composition that they have on the opposite team. So by picking up that, last time I died, I picked that one up, and that's probably the entire reason why I lived through that fight to begin with.
Yeah.
I kept dropping down my Dark Knight in the front because you can't forget it pops your watching and waiting passive, even if they're fighting you in the duration of it. So you get that extra regeneration, and it bolsters your attack speed, it bolsters your movement speed, and everything else. So you're going to be getting beneficial statistics the longer they decide to stay there and fight you in it. So by popping that one down in front of my turret, the turret was drawing aggro on them, they're taking a lot of damage, and I was having beneficial statistics added onto me. So we almost turned that situation around. Thankfully, I was able to live in that one, and I was able to get out of there with my bat life. But
What's your bat life?
my bat life, not a
That's a
normal
good
life,
one.
just my bat life. But we have a turret here, and I'm just going to tank this enough for my Nightmare Batman to go through. I am a little bit tankier than he is, but I'm still taking a lot of damage from that one. That's because turrets hurt, man.
Yeah, man, turrets. And again, this is not the Gotham Heights, so these turrets function a little bit differently. If you're lingering around the turret, there's no capturing basically. So the way that it works is if you get near it, you're gonna get thrashed. Not even if you get inside of the capture zone, you can begin to bring down that timer and you won't get hit by the turrets. So you just gotta be a little careful about that. That's a food for thought for any new MOBA players out there, and especially new to Infinite Crisis. And now what are you doing here? You have your Vampire Batman up there. There is going to be a Gaslight Batman. There will also be the Wonder Woman and Vampire Batman
That was
as
not
well.
that was not the engagement that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn tail and run. So I expected the Gaslight Batman and I expected the Wonder Woman. I did not expect the Nightmare Batman. I was standing in the stealth field to try to get a jump on someone for when they came over. Unfortunately, their Nightmare Batman is a little bit strong right now. So you can see, well, their Nightmare Batman is actually only 0 and 8. Our Nightmare Batman 0 and 8. Their Nightmare Batman on the opposite side, though, he's 6, 0 and 4. So I did not want to wind up tussling with that guy. So I turned tail and ran, and unfortunately had to sacrifice my allies in that situation.
Remember what I said, guys. You're either really good with the Vampire Batman or you're not.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate for our Vampire Batman. However, their Vampire Batman is demonstrating, he's putting on a clinic of how to kill people 101.
Oh yeah, I mean showing how the assassins are meant to be played in Infinite Crisis, without a doubt, and especially on Coast City too. Really, just good strategy by him. Your Vampire Batman having to drop back there. You're going to be moving in with that Dark Knight effect there. There goes that Vampire Batman. 3 champions right in front of you as you're going to have to drop back on this one. Tom, you're going to find the Gaslight Batman. You're going to move
I just want the kill and I can't get it. So
Man.
the problem is with the way my team is playing this game, we have a support Poison Ivy. She went down with Nightmare Batman, which is fine because Nightmare Batman is an assassin, and having a support, it's kind of like if you're supporting a marksman. You keep them alive as much as possible and try to get them farmed. The only problem is, looking at our Nightmare Batman here, he is 0 and 9 because he's the one who keeps initiating. What he needs to do is stay a little bit safer. I'm 2 and 4. I've picked up a couple of kills. I have a couple deaths on my side as well because we're losing. But I'm an enforcer. I'm a bruiser. I'm a little bit tankier than he is. I actually have the itemization to be a little bit tankier as well. If you're on a team with an assassin, you need to be the one to go in and deal and basically have the team beat on you. I can use my Dark Knight and have them draw enough attention to me so that Nightmare Batman can come in and play cleanup duty. The only problem is this Nightmare Batman isn't necessarily waiting for me to do that. He's just kind of like, I see somebody, I'm an assassin, let me kill that Gaslight Batman, and he's running into the trap that the Gaslight Batman is setting for them.
Yeah, because then their Vampire Batman's moving in, and then he's thrashing, so he's just destroying right away. So that's the reason why you see that Vampire Batman struggling there. And definitely something that you guys should really think about as you're playing, if you're playing down in the bottom lane there with a support Poison Ivy or just a support in general, you need to be careful. Try not to initiate on your fights. It will really, really hurt your team in the end there, especially if you have a character that can take advantage of it. The one thing that I am noticing, though, if I'm correct, you have a... let me see. Who else do you have on your team? You have a Shazam, I believe, or...
I got a Catwoman. I got a Flash.
Flash. So you really don't have any tanky champions on your team, too.
I'm the tank when it comes to that, and
Yeah.
it looks like, unfortunately, I might be feral embraced, and that is a 4-man gank squad rolling through the urban waste. 5-man gank squad rolling through the urban waste. They have no regard for our tower because they captured the Doomsday device, and that's one thing that Doomsday devices can do, too. They can just lay down damage in the area, and they'll take out a turret.
Really? I actually Did not know that. So good
I
to know.
just learned that.
Yeah, you just learned that right
Because
now.
that's what happened to my turret right
Yeah.
there.
Well, guys, as you, of course, you know, Coast City so new that we, and of course, you're just looking at your dead
Still a
body.
better love story than Twilight.
Yeah. That was a good one. I knew he credited that. Oh, man. All right, so now you're getting absolutely hammered here inside of your base. You're moving in, trying to see if you can take out this Wonder Woman there. And, of course, Wonder Woman, that's a tank character, man, taking so much damage. You really do need your Gaslight Catwoman there to be effective on that one. So you're on the chase now. Is this a smart idea, Tom? Or
Probably not, but what we wound up doing is they wound up engaging while we had our main base cannon up, and that's not the best spot for them to engage on. So what we were able to do is I popped my Dark Knight, I rushed in there, we took down their Nightmare Batman, which was very effective because he was on a killing spree there. Then we wound up jumping down onto, well, Wonder Woman was the next closest target, but we were able to actually get a really good catch. We saw Catwoman taking out Gaslight Batman there, so we wound up just deterring their push there. They're running around, they're pretty much running away with the game at that point, but they overextended a little bit too much into our base, and we were able to turn that around into engagement to capitalize for us. We could defend for a little bit longer. We got a killing spree bonus on both myself and on our Gaslight Catwoman. So a damage dealer and a tank now are going to be able to build a little bit more items, basically. And we'll see here. I'm going straight for that level 3 of the Batman's utility belt because I want to try to be a tank from now on. I still have a little bit of damage I can deal based off my martial arts and any other abilities that I wind up using, but I want to try to absorb damage, not just deal it in this circumstance. So you can see your Gaslight Joker, he's tanking up a bit better than I can. We have the taunt coming out from Wonder Woman too. Now in comes their Batman. So I'm going to pop this down. I'm going to get my passive up. I'm going to see if maybe I can take down this Gaslight Joker, but I don't think so because there's 3 members strong. I'm going to run around in my own little Dark Knight here. They're still taking down the tower. Unfortunately, I just have no teammates because they're trying to take advantage of the defending and try to get offensive. But the point is, we still haven't taken down their outer tower on the top. Their outer tower on the bottom is still here. We're just in no position to be offensive, and we're not able to stop them. They just got too many kills too quick. We see 7-1-7 on their Nightmare Batman, 11-2 on their Gaslight Batman, and 6-1-6 on their regular Batman. So their Batmans definitely being the saviors that the Blue Legion deserve.
Their Batmans are better than your Batmans.
Their Batmans are better than our Batmans. That's pretty much the only thing I can say with this one. Now, if I'm going to be building a little bit tankier, I want to potentially go for some health items. So I'm going to wind up switching it up a little bit now. I want to try to find where is the item I'm looking for. So this Suit of Sorrows is really good because it's going to be reflecting any physical damage when I upgrade it. So I'm going to try to go for that one. If the game lasts long enough, I'll be able to duel their assassins very effectively.
Yeah, well, you know what, though? You do have their Vampire Batman on the run here.
Oh, he wound up going invisible. We'll see if maybe I could bait him into jumping on me, or if I could try to find where he's going to go. But it doesn't look like he's going to be anywhere. I'm just going to wind up having to run back to base, though, because our power core, oh, it's dangerously dying. I'm popping my super speed Goldenboy and see if I can save the day.
Yeah, well, typical Batman fashion, of course, not without the Boy Wonder. I don't know if that's going to be possible. Gaslight Joker's going to be focusing down, and look at that there. You could just see how dark everything is getting now just because you're in that effect.
Wonder Woman's here. When'd she get there?
What? You were in that Joker effect there. There's the rat special, pretty much. It's pretty insane, of course. Look at that there. Just overall punishing.
They're a little bit too strong. Gaslight Joker, he will wind up going down. Our Gaslight Catwoman, actually, she's going to be getting herself a bit more damage, too. We'll see if she can wind up taking people down. She's got those Gaslight claws. I don't know about that one. Looks like she's dead. The Flash is dead. Rest in peace, Barry White. Looks like that our Nightmare Batman, unfortunately, has given up on the fact that we can save Coast City. And it looks like the Blue Legion's going to be taking this one.
Wow. Well, that was quite the game there, though. Good attempt, nonetheless, by your squad. And, I mean, really, it was kind of difficult from the beginning. It seemed like they were just not maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like they were just not ready for your trek into the urban waste. And let's go ahead and take a look at the final stats here.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I saw was a little bit of a deficit for us was when I went into the urban waste, our Nightmare Batman looked like he maybe wanted to do the same thing, but he decided that he was going to wind up going into lane with Poison Ivy, which I think is actually pretty good. But unfortunately for us, he was not able, or he wasn't comfortable enough in the lane, or so it seemed. He had 10 deaths, but he wasn't really able to contribute towards a lot of kills for the team, be it we didn't have that many on our our red squad side to begin with, but one thing I've learned about the Urban Waste is it's very hit or miss.
Yeah.
It took me a lot longer to hit level 2 than I thought it was going to. I needed to clear 3 to 4 camps before I hit level 2, as opposed to maybe clearing 3 or 4 waves in lane and keeping pressure off those towers. So if you are going to be going into the Urban Waste, you need somebody that has a little bit more effective AoE damage. When I started, I took Batarang because I wanted to melt down those bigger drones effectively, and that's why I took the Consume Stolen Power. But now that I'm looking at it in a different light, if I were to maybe go into the Urban Waste with Gaslight Joker, or maybe go in with Flash, who has an ability to hit multiple targets at the same time while still dealing a decent amount of damage, and then save that consume only for hitting the big drones, I could clear 1 or 2 camps very quickly and effectively, maybe hit level 2 by the time the laners are the same level, and then gank effectively. I felt like, unfortunately for Batman, even though I've seen him used to great effect in certain circumstances on Coast City and the Urban Waste, it just wasn't my game and wasn't my drive that time.
Yeah, and just the fact that your team, was playing a 3-2 situation up top, that also didn't. I mean, and again, it wasn't necessarily. I mean, I'm not blaming you. I don't want to blame Tom here. But seriously though, because of that situation, because you did not find anyone traveling in the Urban Waste, you found yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage, like you had said. It was quite the matchup. Now I'm afraid for my trip into Coast City with Batman, because I don't know what to expect here.
Well, from what we saw in my performance here, there's a couple things that you can utilize in the lane that you don't necessarily have access to in the Urban Waste. The first one is definitely going to be utilizing those stealth fields when they're not pushing against your tower. If you stay on those stealth fields and wait for the drones to get low and then just last hit them with a Batarang, or walk up and last hit them with a melee range auto attack and then go back into the stealth field, you're going to keep yourself relatively healthy. So the enemies aren't going to want to engage on you unless they have that full potential to kill you, or if they have a member of their team in the Urban Waste and they decide to get aggressive on you while you're still at full health, well, something's kind of fishy and someone's probably around. Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to this one. We're going to go ahead and jump to a quick break, and I'm going to get into the battlefield, get my gear ready. I'm excited.
Get your utility belt all set.
Get my utility belt ready. All right, guys, so we're going to have a brief commercial break, and then when we come back, I am going to begin a laning Batman style that hopefully you guys enjoy, so don't go anywhere. More Crisis Watch coming at you in just a bit. Greetings, Protectors. Welcome back to Crisis Watch. Goldenboy here, joined by Optimus Tom. As always, we just saw Tom take on the Urban Waste with Batman. Didn't go too well, although your strategy was completely sound. Unfortunately, the Red Squad just couldn't put it together. Blue Legion, too strong.
Blue Legion, too strong.
Now I have to take on my own challenge, laning with Batman. And, I guess going into this, since everyone knows that you're the smart one, and I'm the pretty one. What should I look to do here on Coast City with Batman?
So one thing that I saw when I was using Batman in the Urban Waste was the fact that you have high damage potential when you scale it with items, but you have a little bit of innate tankiness due to your regeneration in the stealth fields. Before the commercial break, we said that you can utilize those stealth fields in lane just to sit in them until you want to wind up last hitting, or sit in them and last hit with a Batarang so you can stay safe and keep yourself healthy. So what we're going to wind up doing, I think, in the lane, you're kind of going to build like a marksman, which I know you're very comfortable with doing.
Yeah.
So you can build like a marksman, but we are going to get that Lobo's chain upgraded to level 4 pretty quick. Okay. So what we want to do is maybe pick up that nil weapon, pick up the Lobo's chain on maybe the first back, start upgrading that one, and then after we have that 500 HP auto attack slow and a little bit of attack damage, we can go into our Jojo's Revolver, we could go into our Coda Blade, we can go into our normal marksman type build, since you're going to be able to utilize that extra damage from your martial arts very, very quickly.
So I'm just going to be Mr. Attack. Just get in there, beat everyone up, and run out. All right, let me go ahead, pick my Batman here. We hopped into a game now. So what am I going to go with for Stolen Powers here?
Oh, man, it looks like that's something I want to play.
Yeah, right? That's not even right. All right, going back into the hunt once again.
So we got Stolen Powers. Now, what I did since I was in the Urban Waste was I wound up taking Consume. Now, you're going to be in a little bit of a different circumstance. You have two options. You can keep yourself safe, and you can go for Consumer Healing Wave, because you are going to be in melee range. That would make you feel a little bit more comfortable maybe going into trade situations.
Okay.
Or we can go and pick up Batman's trap, and you're going to be the guy who wants to just wind up going and picking up kills. So if you want to feel a little bit more safe, go for that consume or something along the lines of that. If you want to maybe set up kills and have someone step on that trap, root them in place, you can put down that Dark Knight, dish out that pain, then go for the Batman's traps.
All right, and then I think I'm going to go with super speed. I honestly, I think I might need that escape there. So Batman's trap is just go ahead and hop into the action here. Batman's trap is now going to be out there, and super speed. So I think that's going to work out the best for me here. And seems like we have a all Batman character bonanza here on the Red Brigade. It's pretty cool. We have, you can see Vampire Batman. We have myself as regular Batman, and we have Gaslight Batman. Oh, well, actually, Doomsday, I brain farted on that one. We got Joker. If this was Gaslight Joker, it would be all Batman, but yeah, still close enough.
So this time around, you have that tanky character. You also have a blaster, a marksman, and an assassin. So you can do, what I said was you can build a lot of damage, and I wanted you to go for that Lobo's Chain first. This is going to work very well into how your team composition is set up. Having Doomsday be that big tanky enforcer, he's going to be able to absorb the damage. You're a bruiser, so you can dish out damage, Willis take some. By going for Lobo's Chain, that extra health is going to make you like an off tank, which is something that a lot of people may be familiar with the terminology of that one, especially if you're coming from maybe an MMO background. Having an off tank means that you can take a little bit of damage, but you can hurt a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So going for Lobo's Chain first gives you the HP and a little bit of damage, gives you enough survivability throughout the game, especially with your passive Watching Waiting. Don't forget, it gives you bonus power, armor, and armor when you're invisible or in your Dark Knight. It's all you really need to utilize with your health. You can build straight damage after that one, and between that and Doomsday, you guys should be fine as a front line.
All right, and now what lane am I looking to go after here first? Bottom or top?
Well, let's see here. We heard in the lobby as I was stalking your chat, somebody wanted to go into the urban waste. So you're going to definitely have a two-person situation no matter where you go. I think with you want to potentially go where Gaslight Batman is not. So he's going to be able to farm up effectively himself, and you're going to be able to farm up effectively yourself. So if Gaslight Batman looks like he's going into the bottom or the top, you're going to want to try to go into the opposite lane from that. Of course, if you do want to get into a lane with Gaslight Batman, you can kind of run zone defense from those stealth fields and let him farm very effectively.
All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and go for this Lobo's Chain. Let me go ahead and find it here.
Who's in the top middle?
Yes, there it is, right
there.
there.
We go.
All right, Lobo's Chain it is. And should I go for some pots, maybe?
I would definitely pick up some pots. Now, the best part about Batman Prime, we didn't even talk about this. He's an energy-based champion. So he doesn't have will, so he's not going to be restricted to some sort of pool of which he draws from his skills. His energy is going to regenerate constantly. So that means when you activate one of his skills, you're going to drain a portion of your pool. But then after that, your energy regenerates a lot faster than will, so you can kind of land them in a combination, let the energy come back, and then land them again when they're off cooldown.
All right, so going bot, as you can see, Gaslight Batman's moving up top, so I'm staying away from him. Drones are not operational. And one guy in my chat says his team needs more Batmans.
You can never have enough Batmans, that's the thing. Now, I like this lane configuration because you have you as a bruiser. You can dish out some damage, take a lot of damage, but Joker as a blaster, well, he's a blaster master. He deals a lot of burst. So between the two of you, you can take down targets. Whereas in the top side with Gaslight Batman, you're going to wind up having him and Doomsday. So Doomsday can sit there as a wall, while Gaslight Batman is the one that deals the damage from behind. Now, you got yourself a Blaster Master and Green Lantern, and I believe I didn't actually catch a glance of who wound up blowing up your spot right there, but looks like it's Poison Ivy. That's my girl. So you got a support and a blaster. Now, both of them are relatively squishy, but so are you guys at the early stages here. So if your Joker's able to land one of those Mr. Punchies on Poison Ivy, I wouldn't be opposed to throwing down some of those batarangs and harassing her back too.
All right, so right now what I'm trying to see if I can just pick up this farm here because I do feel like I need this here at the very least, you know. So I am getting a couple of that. Oh,
look, you got a Wally on your side.
Yeah, that's right. I always gotta go for the Wally.
It's the only Wally where I know he uses lasers to eliminate. Well, I wouldn't even say it's not cognitive life; it's sentient life because they're robots. But he's using that laser beam rather than cleaning up trash. He's taking out the trash in the enemy Blue Legion here.
Yeah, these things are mean, man. I don't like these dudes. Gonna have to destroy them quick.
I don't know about you, but if Turbine, if you're listening, if you had a little plush Sentry toy, the little Wally guy, I'd totally buy like 60 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Actually, what I would do is I would have one of those whack-a-mole games, only the jokers would pop up, and those would be the prizes.
it's like the things you say just surprise me every time.
I don't know, man. I've always wanted to go to Gotham City Carnival, but I'm a little bit afraid. I heard the streets are not very safe at night.
Yeah, well, that's why this guy here is protecting it. The Dark Knight, Batman.
Now, one of the things you have to remember is your martial arts, your W ability, it's an active. So you can click it and then click somebody, or if you have smart casting on, you can hover over them and click it, and it's actually a dash. It's a mini gap closer. It's not as effective as maybe, we'll say, Shazam or Doomsday's gap closers are going to be. However, you're going to be able to jump towards somebody, which means you're going to be able to close distance between Poison Ivy, and you can utilize that effectively to, let's say, jump over her Deadly Bloom or jump over the knockup that she has.
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up all of my abilities here, and hopefully see if. Okay, never mind. That's not really gonna work out too well. I was gonna see if I could probably get like a little gutsy with it, but.
All right, well, we did wind up throwing out the surprise there from Joker. She was slowing down Nightmare Batman, but the unfortunate part is between Nightmare Batman and the burst coming out from Green Lantern, you were just too slow, too weak, and you want to get melted down in that situation.
Yep, that happened. All right, so what should I go for here item-wise? Anything I should focus on?
Well, we can't. Can we upgrade our Lobos chain, or is that a 750 out of 500?
750.
All right. Well, I think, unfortunately, for now, we're not going to be able to do that. Maybe we can go back and pick up a nil weapon for the time being, or maybe even the nil armor, just to give ourselves a little bit more survivability. I advocate actually the weapons. We have a little bit of damage if we want to farm up a bit. So we got that. We still have a couple of our potions in our inventory, so we're not going to need to buy any of those. So why don't we head back to lane here and see what's going to wind up going on. Now, what I want to see here is they do have a tri-lane down here, but now your Nightmare Batman is down there as well. So he's coming out of the Urban Waste. He's going to get himself a little bit of experience while you're gone. He's going to be able to force him off this turret. Now, what I want to see here is I want us to get aggressive for farming these drones. I feel like we have the ability to dodge Poison Ivy's skill shots, and if Green Lantern bursts us, I want us to hide in the stealth field and then pop out and use that Batarang to try to last hit as many drones as possible.
All right, so last hitting, stealth, Batarang. I missed that one. Again, guys, not the greatest player in the world here. I'm just great with Cyborg.
Think of it this way. When you're talking about Arkham City or Arkham Asylum or either one of those Batman games, what you do in those games is you utilize the stealth. You want to try to get an angle of approach and then swoop down and surprise the enemy. Because if you wind up fighting them straight up, sometimes you're just not powerful enough to take out a group of enemies.
Yeah.
So by hiding in these stealth fields, you are going to be able to harass effectively. You can run in, wind up getting that last hit on that drone with a Batarang, and then walking out. You can go in and harass Green Lantern. He's actually at half HP. So if you might be able to, not right now because the drone's going to be pushing towards the turret, but if he pushes back and he stays at that amount of HP, I want to see if we can gap close with our martial arts, pop down the cape spin so we can slow him, and then throw the Batarang and get that mark and that last execution of attack damage. That might be enough burst to take him down, but it looks like the Green Lantern, either he's watching the show right now and he can hear me, which is very, very, very strange, or he's realized that, well, you're Batman, he could kind of burst you down.
Yeah, that's probably the other case here. And all right, so I'm right here, level 5. What should I go for as far as upgrades are concerned for my abilities?
Well, I've been kind of favoring that Batarang, especially because you're going to be able to want to last hit with it from afar. So if you want to go for that one, that's very good. I've also kind of been debating in my head a little bit here, leveling up that martial arts a little bit earlier because it gives you bonus attack damage. It applies on hit effects if we decide to get any later on, but it's also going to be giving you that gap closer. So either one of those seems to be the go-to skill to get. That cape spin, I'm thinking that it's going to be just a level 1 get, and then leveling it up as our last ability. As you can see right here, you're able to jump on Poison Ivy, dish out a lot of damage right there, and she has to run away. She's at very low HP.
All right, so I felt like I did a good job there.
Between you and Joker, you can really burst down targets. Joker, as a blaster, his combination, if he lands Mr. Punchy and gets a surprise down, it's a lot of damage right there. And he can gap pose as well by using his own little surprise ability. Put down that punching bag, the little Joker shuffle. And
Oh.
he's able to put out a lot of damage between those 3 abilities. So if you can follow up with the gap close when he lands a Mr. Punchy, the mini stun on top of your gap close, on top of your batarang stun, will be enough to probably lock down somebody for enough damage to kill.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to eliminate this farm here, you know, trying to see if I can pick this up.
Definitely. The Joker here is running zone defense for you, so you're going to be able to farm up. You're going to be the guy that has a little bit more credits and going to be able to get that Lobos chain upgraded effectively. We can see gap close, battering, not going to be enough to take him down. And unfortunately, the chains went down from Green Lantern, which also slowed you. So both of you guys kind of have a similar setup in this lane, despite one of you being a bruiser and a blaster, and the other one being a support and a blaster.
All right, so I picked up Global's Chain, that level 2 upgrade, level 2 upgrade. So now what should I go for here as far as, should I pick something else up or should I save?
Do we have any more potions still, or do we need to maybe pick up 1 or 2 more?
I think we may need to pick up 1 or 2 more.
All right, so we got health packs. We're going to have those for days, and we're going to see if we can keep ourselves in lane and keep farming. Now, this is the thing. On Coast City, unlike Gotham Heights, so Gotham Heights is a capture point map. You're moving around a lot more often. You're rotating, trying to keep points from your opponents, as well as capture them. Coast City, it's a little bit more docile, especially in the early stages of the game. You start at level 1 as opposed to level 3, and you got to get your farm going before you wind up grouping up for team fights and roaming around the map a lot more. As we saw in some of the previous games on Crisis Watch, as well as my own game when I was in the Urban Waste, my team was playing it like it was Gotham Heights. So we were kind of roaming around as 1 or 2, trying to pick people off. The enemy team grouped up as 3, 4, or 5, and just decimated us through superior team play. So that's going to be something you new protectors to Coast City are going to want to keep in mind. We also, in my game, completely ignored the Doomsday device and those relay points. So that might be something that you can kind of roam around with. As you can see in the middle of your screen, when that little diamond hits the marker underneath our portraits, that's going to open up a new point for us to capture. So maybe even get some rotation down. I feel like objective control in that sense is definitely going to be something your Urban Waste junglers are going to have to keep in mind.
All right, so I got to be careful about this turret because if I get into this zone here, I could get crushed. So need to be smart about this one here. But oh man, if I had something that could just,
She's so tasty looking right there.
Yeah, it was like...
I'm not a vegetarian, but Poison Ivy's looking delicious right now.
I was like so ready for it, man. I'm like, oh, Vampire Batman. Okay, so now he's definitely going to have to drop back. Oh, and
pop down your Dark Knight. That's great. You get that movement speed bonus, but also is a deterrent because they don't know who else is there. They don't know if you pop that down to have your own Nightmare Batman come into it. They don't know if you're going to be able to turn around and burst them down because if they click on you, then you go into that shroud, they lose sight. They can't look at what itemization you have. They don't know how powerful you are. And last time they saw you and Joker do anything, you got Poison Ivy down extremely low. So it's
waiting
a really good
for Lantern
deterrent.
to move in just a little bit more.
Once you get that gap closed in, you might be able to go on Poison Ivy. Oh, Mr. Punchy misses, but now Green Lantern stepped up. You guys are able to disc. He puts down the pain plane, trying to kill Joker. It's your time to shine right here, Goldenboy. Let's see if you can get him. The Dark Knight goes down. Joker's still alive. It looks like that he and Poison Ivy are going to run away. You got that extra regeneration, and you're farming up. So it looks like you got the jump on one guy. Unfortunately, they were able to turn it around, and that's the situation here. He has the sustain coming out from Poison Ivy and her passive ability, going to pop down that healing field. She also, of course, has the ability to lock down and make one of you guys miss. She has Deadly Kiss. That's her little nuke. She gives a quick little mwah, and she's going to make sure that your auto attacks don't land. That's also going to apply to your martial arts. So if you got hit with that Deadly Kiss, you weren't able to apply the damage to just take down Green Lantern because of those 1 or 2 missed attacks.
Yeah, I am a little worried about this. They are calling for 3 top now. And I'm wondering what would be the smartest play to do here. Would it be to push in or just maintain my lane phase or just continue this?
I feel like we should sit here, utilize that last little health potion we have in our inventory, our health pack. Make sure we're keeping our health alive. Actually, we have a couple more, so we're going to wind up using 1. Now our Joker's come down. Poison Ivy looks like she kind of knows you're going to be hiding in these stealth fields now. Looks like she knows how Batman's kind of kit works. But I wouldn't use that as a deterrent at all. I would keep in there because you're going to keep regenerating that 6% of your health. So it's a very effective way to stay in no matter what, even if your opponent knows you're there.
Yep, and I'm going
to I actually wouldn't be afraid to even go into their stealth field. If you could just wind up sitting there, because Joker has them zoned out quite effectively. You can even just kind of throw batarangs and harass, walk back in, throw a batarang, walk back out, etc., and just kind of poke them down a little bit, which is something that a lot of melee range bruisers just don't have.
Yep, and let's see here. I'm going to try and see if I can remove some of this. Oh, I am getting focused, though. That's not good.
Well, you got the chains on you. It means you're slow, but that leaves Joker uninhibited. He throws down the Joker baby there, that gaseous explosion. And, oh, man, combination right there. Great martial arts usage. You're able to take down Poison Ivy. And the pain plane misses. I'd actually maybe turn on the Green Lantern there. He had all his cooldowns, but both of you guys were extremely, extremely low. You pick up a 1 for none, so it's a really good fight for you either way.
Yeah, I feel like one thing I'm not doing very effectively is taking advantage of my Dark Knight effect. You know, obviously I'm like throwing it out in front of me here, and it seems like we have managed to take out the Lantern now. So moving in here to the turret, wait for some more drones to move in here.
I think you got the Doomsday device and then just eviscerated.
Yeah, we got the Doomsday device and ended up just obliterating Lantern on that one, so that's awesome. And I'm just going to continue to push in here. My Joker's moving back, so I think it might be best for me to move back too.
I think what we want to do here is go back and recall and spend all that money because we just took an objective, we took a tower, and we got a couple kills for ourselves. So we got assist on Green Lantern. You got the kill credit on Poison Ivy as well. So now you can go back and you can let's see if we can level up that Lobos chain all the way. Because now this is going to be the situation where we turn from kind of passive into being a bit more aggressive. So now you have a lot more HP than they're going to be expecting. 500 bonus from that Lobos chain. I believe it's 40 attack damage. You're going to pack a little bit of an extra punch, especially on that martial arts. The best part here from that fully upgraded Lobos chain is when you attack something, you put a slow buff, a slow debuff on them. So if you gap close with that martial art, it applies the on-hit effect. So not only are you going to be applying your martial art damage, the damage you get from Lobos chain, but you're going to gap close and automatically get one hit of slow on them. So if they want to try to run away from you, they're going to have to knock you up, they're going to have to stun you, they're going to have to slow you, but you're going to have that slowing effect so you can always win out in a chase situation.
All right, so now I'm just going to move in here. I'm going to, since no one's really pushing on the bot lane here, I'm just going to continue to see if I can farm, level up my Dark Knight effect here, of course, try and go for that. And, you know, it's kind of crazy working with Joker here, you know, arch nemesis, of course.
And it's Joker Prime and Batman Prime. So I'm even like, oh, Gaslight Joker, you might be a different kind of character here. Now, this is kind of like Batman was like, I'm letting you out of Arkham Asylum now.
What I think is cool, too, is just the fact that, like, you know, these two characters have actually pretty good synergy right now. If, like, the way that we're playing this one, where he's kind of, like, zoning things out and I'm the guy who's moving in for the kill, it's actually pretty awesome to see that. So, let's see now.
One thing you guys are doing really effectively too, sorry to interrupt, is
go ahead.
when you're farming and he's zoning, you picked up a kill, but he's getting a lot of the credits. So he's still itemizing very, very well for a blaster. So he's going to stay on par with Green Lantern, who's harassing, farming, and everything, where his support Poison Ivy is just, well, sitting there looking pretty.
Yeah, and I do see a lot of activity. Should I go for it?
I would go for it.
All right, I'm gonna get this guy here, and I'm gonna go for it.
All right, let's see here. Now, make sure you have a stealth field coming up right above you. I would be sure to utilize that and put down a Dark Knight on the area outside, so you're gonna stay invisible no matter what. Stick on the Poison Ivy right there. Kate Sleep, make sure you get the extra slow on there as well as from Lobos chain. You're a 2v1 situation, 3v1 though. Utilize that super speed, utilize that Dark Knight, get yourself the heck out of there. Try to put it ahead of you after walking through a stealth field, so you can see if you get that extra boost of movement speed, and now head to that next stealth field. So you're gonna go from movement speed bonus stealth to stealth. Now you got your own Nightmare Batman. He's gonna put the slow down. You still have a 2v3, so don't quite turn around yet. Gaslight Catwoman's invisible. Now you can turn on her. You got a 3v3 situation in your favor. You got one more stack of Dark Knight. Make sure you throw that one down. You picked up a kill on Gaslight Catwoman right there. You're regenerating. You are there for your team, though. This is gonna be a favorable situation. Technically, right there, you picked up Poison Ivy. You lost one of your own, but then in that ensuing 3v1 chase, you guys picked up a 2-for-1.
Nice. I feel good about that. Hell yeah.
And like we said, you are an off tank. You did enough damage to take down Poison Ivy. You did enough damage to help your team take down that 3v3 situation right there. You wound up dying, but you died so slowly that they were able to get a beneficial trade. If you count the fight beforehand, that's a 3-for-2 in your favor. If you count just that little skirmish, it's a 2-for-1, all because you're Batman.
I'm Batman. So what am I going for here as far as items now, Tom?
Now we can kind of build a little bit extra damage. Now we talked about that the claw right there, the claw of Horus a little bit before in the last game. If you want to go for that, give yourself some lifesteal, you can do it. If you want to build a little bit tankier with a little bit extra damage, maybe more on the tank side, you can pick up that Batman's utility belt. It depends all the path you want to go. A little bit more damage or a little bit more tankiness is entirely up to you.
A little bit more damage.
So we get attack armor from this, but we get lifesteal. When we upgrade this one, we're going to reap the benefits of damage in addition to that. Yes. So you get the Claw of Horus right here. Now these are statistics that Batman's going to love. You have duelist capabilities with the HP and the lifesteal that you get from your on-hit effect. You also have the extra armor, so you're going to be able to trade more beneficially. Attack damage, of course, is going to be better because, well, you're going to scale that with your skills. You're going to be able to dish out a little bit more pain in these situations. So going for these hybrid items, which is something that MOBAs generally have a couple hybrid items, but they're normally ridiculously overpowered. If you have something that adds armor and attack damage, or something along the lines of power and armor, that's going to be a very effective item and very high tier. But in Infinite Crisis, you can build the base for that and upgrade it into that high tier while reaping small benefits throughout the game because of it. Now this Doomsday device, it's actually like a neutral drone. It's going to attack you and it's going to hurt. You need to kill it, but you can't kill it yourself. You need a little help here. I would actually let Doomsday go in and tank it first because look at that guy. It looks like he's built like a Ford. He's built like a rock. So I'm going to have to see. I don't know. Is that Chevy or is that Ford? I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm a MOBA player. I'm not a car dealer. I just talk like one.
All right. So who has a Doomsday device now?
Red
Doomsday.
Squad. Oh, Doomsday has the Doomsday device.
Yeah, Doomsday had that's certainly not good. So it seems like now my team wants to get super aggressive here at the bot lane, which makes sense. There is going to be. Ooh, let me see if I can go ahead and heal up here for a little bit. Wonder Woman, I see you. You there? I'm gonna kill you, Wonder Woman.
Well, Wonder Woman sees the rest of your team too. So Wonder Woman, she's not recalling right now. Well, then she's something else. But
yeah,
we're gonna have to see here. Looks like they want to kind of fight this one. Don't forget, Wonder Woman's behind you, so she could potentially pop up in your back lines. But looks like their Nightmare Batman getting a little bit too gutsy here. You took out their blaster. It looks like Nightmare Batman winds up going down. Now Catwoman's gonna try to come and clean up duty, but they focus down on Doomsday. He was your tank. You still have everybody else alive on your team. Now you're the off tank, and they might try to focus down on your squishies, but because of that Lobo's chain, you're slowing them down. So they're not going to wind up being able to chase effectively, just because, well, you're slowing them and they're kiting from the side of your squishies. And there's the Doomsday device. Not going to kill anybody because everybody's already dead.
Yeah, pretty much. And it seems like it ended up just going off on its own, which I don't understand why.
Oh, it actually took down 2 members that were, looked like on, was that on your team that they went to going down? It looks like it was. You guys stood in the Doomsday device, and apparently, even though you captured it, Doomsday device doesn't necessarily care. Oh man, that Nightmare Batman is so low, but you guys do kind of have to run. We have Joker kiting very effectively here with those Mr. Punchies, and unfortunately he's out of will, so he's not going to be able to use those power skills he's got. So you can just kind of play this one passive if you want, maybe farm up a little bit more, even go on the retreat if you want to. No harm in running away from a disadvantageous situation, but it looks like it's just Wonder Woman now. So you might actually just be able to sit there. Now, Wonder Woman, I don't know necessarily how she's building. She could build pure tank like a Doomsday. She could build a little bit more damage-oriented like an off-tank like you are.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to say you can't kill Wonder Woman, but I'm assuming she can't kill you either.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'm a little nervous, though, is this guy right there, Lantern, man. He just is so frustrating. But I do have my Joker back here, so it seems like Lantern's not going to be moving in. Joker and I are going to have to work together here to be effective. And, I mean, I'm pretty committed to this bot lane here. I'm not leaving this one. My teammates moving all over the place. I'm just trying to do the absolute best I can to make sure I'm controlling bot lane here with this Joker Prime.
Well, that's one thing that I've seen in Infinite Crisis thus far, especially Coast City. It's a duo lane map, so the lanes have more of an emphasis than maybe on a tri or quad lane map, like in some other MOBAs. So the lanes have so much more emphasis that you can literally ride the lane all the way to the end and then group up with your team just based on where the lanes wind up meeting. So since there is 5 members strong on this map as opposed to maybe 3, 4, or less on other duo lane maps and other MOBAs, you have so many people completely active on the map at the same time that there's always going to be 1 or 2 people who are completely devoted to pushing and farming one lane. This game, your top lane took down the enemy turret extremely quick, and they've been the ones being that roaming hit squad. That's letting you and Joker just farm this lane effectively, and well, look at you guys. You're so strong, not even Wonder Woman can take you down.
Yeah, well, Wonder Woman went for the challenge there. I was like, well, you know, this is either going to go really good or really bad, and it went really good. So I'm pretty happy about that. All right. So now we have Lantern here by the turret. Seems like he's waiting for us to move in and get gutsy. Oh, man, Ivy pushing into. Gonna have to be careful about that.
Now, the one thing we have to also take into effect is Poison Ivy is a support, and she's naturally going to be a little bit under leveled. She's building straight support as well, which means that she's going to be able to help her team out, but if you can just land maybe 1 or 2 hits on her, she's going to be limping away or with a broken leg. She's going to be hurt. She's going to be wilted pretty much. So you're going to have to keep that in mind. If Poison Ivy gets a little bit too far in front, you can probably wind up picking up a kill extremely easy on her, and that might not even be a bait. Ooh, looks like their Gaslight Catwoman came in from the side. She came in actually with the duo assassins rather than having someone else kind of initiate first. So Pain Plane goes down. There's a Bat Scream coming out from your Gaslight Batman. You took down Green Lantern right there. In the meantime, that Bat Scream took down their Nightmare Batman. The Gaslight Batman has joined the fray. He picks up 2 more kills right there. Marksman effect kicking into effect right there. And you guys are just going to wind up wiping the floor with them. I believe that's a 4 for none right there in your favor.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good play. I won't even lie. I can't believe I'm playing this good with Batman, Tom. I have no idea.
I can't believe you're winning with Batman and I lost. No, just kidding.
It's like, it's funny too because, you know, this has happened before, right? When we play the game and like you lose and you're like the, you know, the MOBA guy and I'm just like that dude, you know?
I'm going to say it's because you have supreme coaching on this one.
You know what? You're probably right about that.
Either that or I'm gonna, as many people in the comments below on YouTube may say, you have the that guy won't shut up factor.
Oh, really? Well, you know what, man?
Trust me, I know.
In the words of Pokemon, it's super effective. All right, so I'm going to go back here. Hopefully I can get there in time. Yes, I can. And, all right, what am I buying here?
Well, you got money in the bank, so you can upgrade that Claw Horse all the way. And now if you want to,
boom.
I want to go, you could go Atomic Axe, or you could go Soul Taker Katana. Depends on what you want to do.
If I want that emphasis on lifesteal, huh? You know what? I just want to beat people up. That's the Goldenboy way. So we're just gonna do it like this.
I'm not quite the hammer. You're gonna drop the axe on him there.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So moving back bot lane here. And,
you got that atomic axe. So next person you walk up to, I want you to ask them a question.
Okay. Yeah. And now, Joker's gonna have to drop back here. So I definitely need to get here with my Joker buddy. And now they see me, they're like, oh, Batman's here. Get back, guys. Get back. It's Batman.
Well, it's a 3v2 situation. You guys are pretty strong, and Poison Ivy isn't necessarily the healthiest right now, but it's still a 3v2 situation.
The player that I'm cautious about is Lantern, though. Lantern worries me.
If he's got the Pain Plane, that's going to stun you guys and dish out a lot of, well, pain. That's kind of why it's called that. So you got to be careful. But, oh, man, Wonder Woman taunted in Joker's Poison Cloud.
Oh, look at that.
So that means that she was just taking so much damage right there. And now you and Joker can push forward. Down goes Poison Ivy. You get the martial arts up. You're going to be able to close that gap. And he put the chains on you, though. So he's going to wind up slowing you down. You got super speed if you want to use it, but
no.
he's in the stealth field.
I don't think I'm going to use it right now. I think I'm going to drop back here, let him run away on that one. See if I can pick up this farm here. Just continue to level up and clear out the lane from my minions.
That's the Batman way. You're not taking a life from something intelligent.
It's like you know, I just gain more respect for you every single time we do this. You have no idea. All right, moving in now.
All right, looks like Green Lantern might be the only one left alive to defend. So you guys can kind of.
There isn't. Oh yes, let's go.
Well, there's a Doomsday device. That's what happens when you're an enemy and you're standing in the Doomsday device.
Awesome.
So you got the damage out of that turret. You want to pick up a kill on Green Lantern, and now their power core is completely exposed. You guys can wail away on this one. You can wail away on them. Doesn't matter. It looks like Red Squad's going to reign victorious in this game. You might not necessarily get it right away. It looks like you're going to dish some pain on Poison Ivy, but drones piling in. 5 members strong. You take down that power core.
Well, you know, I want to say that I'm the best in the world, you know?
I don't know. I mean, right now, there's not a lot of players. It's closed beta, so you could be the best in the world.
All right, well, let's take a look at the stats here. 5-3 with 8 assists. That's actually pretty solid. It was really all that carry, that
marksman of Gaslight
Batman. So strong there. Look at that. 15-6 with 6 assists.
Now, the one thing is I'm looking at this. Now, Gaslight Batman was in that top lane. He was kind of sitting there farming the whole game, pretty much like you were on the bottom side. You had Doomsday and Nightmare Batman going around as that roaming hit squad. You can see Doomsday 11-3-10 was part of 21 kills from your side here. 21 out of the 38, so that was a lot from him. Gaslight Batman was sitting there farming. He's a marksman. Now, I said how you build him, you build kind of glass cannon-y, you have the mobility in your kit to stay alive.
Yeah.
You were doing the same kind of thing by building off-tank, building damage while staying a little bit tanky as well. You still got 75 drone kills compared to his 82. So you were farming up very, very fine. And that was also in a lane with Joker who has the most drone kills in the game. So between you two, you guys might not have been killing all the champions, but you had so much farm. You guys were rich. It's Batman.
Yeah, and also the other thing too, we won from the bottom lane, which was the lane that me and Joker had opened up. So I think, you know, that was definitely awesome. Dragon Bear, shout out to you, buddy. And Marky X, QBZ, and Restless Creator. Got to give a shout out to my team because we the best.
Well, your team definitely looked the best in that one. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but I mean,
you're just like, if I had a salt case here, I would just give it to you. You're just so salty right now.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, I'm like really cheap Chinese food right now. That's how salty I am.
Well, you know what? Definitely pretty cool there. Of course, guys, none of this would be possible without Tom's amazing coaching. This guy is seriously like a guru in MOBAs. It's insane. Dude, don't give me that face, because then I'm going to take it away and it's going to be weird. Look at that. This is awkward.
Oh, man. Senpai noticed me.
That is so weird. Oh, God. Tom, you're a special human being. No, but seriously, though, thank you. Thank you for the tips, of course, guys. And watch the broadcast. See how to play him effectively. Also see how to play, you know, Batman Prime in the Urban Waste effectively, too. Because, you know, although you were not the most effective in that game, largely because of the team comp, what was going on, one thing that you do got to point out is that you had the right strategy in mind, right? You had the right, you just didn't expect it to go the way that it went. And that's unfortunate, but still just very sound strategy.
The thing is, it really relies on team composition. I guess we'll kind of go into some major points that we picked up on playing Batman Prime. And I guess I'll start with my 3 points is, especially if you're using him in the urban jungle, you need to have him in the proper kind of team composition. Now, with my team, we were very assassin, very marksman, very damage heavy. And we didn't necessarily have that front line. So I had to try to be the front line, and it didn't necessarily work because I'm a bruiser. I'm not an enforcer. Bruisers deal damage while taking damage. Enforcers take damage, and while they're not necessarily going to be dealing the most, they're basically immobile objects. In your game, we saw you be able to utilize that off-tank bruiser role extremely effective. You built damage, and you built ways to keep yourself alive, and it worked out very well in lane. Another thing is you do need to hit level 6 as quick as possible.
Yes.
That Dark Knight is a key factor into securing kills as well as your duel potential. You're going to be able to pop that down in a front line in a team fight. They don't want to cross that line. They don't want to get there. Your team can poke at them and get them to disengage and push them away from objectives. If you pop that down coming out of the urban waste, you get the movement speed, you get the stat bonuses, you get the damage and attack speed, you get the extra regeneration as well if you're trading with somebody.
Yeah.
That's going to be your tool to wind up closing in on them. And speaking of closing in, martial arts, I was maxing Batarang. I might actually go for a maxing martial arts, get the cooldown reduction on that.
Yeah.
Because that gap closer is so crucial and effective. We saw you chase down Poison Ivy, chase down the targets in the back lines, which you can do being a little bit more tanky, especially in the urban waste. I'm thinking of maybe going for that one max first over that Batarang. Batarang does give you extra damage, but you get the on-hit damage coming up from martial arts at that gap closer, and we saw how very effectively combined with your Lobos chain.
Yeah, without a doubt, I do feel like, because I went and I decided to actually level up the Batarang as well, you know, because it was really effective. I mean, really great for just poking in and out of the stealth fields, you know, so especially when it came down to hitting those drones. So, again, very effective tool. But I kind of felt like going for martial arts might be. And then actually the other thing too was I went for martial arts, but then I started to realize, you know, my cape sweep is really, really good for when I move in with martial arts and then I go in with that cape sweep. Don't be afraid to interchange with the two per level. Like, make sure you're balancing it out and keeping things at least at an even keel, in my personal opinion. Very, very cool stuff indeed. And I enjoyed playing Batman.
Batman Prime's definitely one of those guys you can get all 3 abilities by the time you're level 3 and see how the laning phase goes, what you want to max. Like you said, Batarang was really good for farming. You could stay in the stealth fields, farm, trade, and then just pop back and stay back. If you are going to maybe just be a little bit more aggressive, like maybe you have a tank with you, maybe you have a marksman with you, and you want to be the initiator and set things up, martial arts can be very effective too.
Yeah.
But getting cape sweep second is definitely something that you need to do. The AoE slow, and of course the attack speed slow that come out from that as well, are going to be just colossal in team fights. It means the team, if you run in with martial arts, they can't disengage effectively. They can't re-engage on you because their attack speed is slowed as well. So very effective kit coming out from Batman Prime. I just got to wind up using them in the lane next time, or maybe having the proper team to use them in those urban wastes.
Yeah, for sure. My 3 points for Batman Prime, it's very simple, okay? It's Joker. Okay, Batman and Joker work very well together, weirdly enough. Also, the other thing, don't be afraid to run away. Don't be afraid to run away, right? When you engage in a team fight and when you're running away, use that Dark Knight. Use it, and it will save you. Especially with the way that you told me, drop down the Dark Knight, run into the stealth field, you're going to be able to get away. I was able to outlast 3 people chasing me just because of that, and I was by myself completely. So without a doubt, definitely use your Dark Knight effectively. And last but not least, just be Batman.
It's got to be Batman, guys.
Batman. Be Batman.
Well, we get to be Batman all week. Of course, if you guys have a beta key, you can, of course, jump into Infinite Crisis, play along with us, or play along with your friends, whoever else has a beta key. All you got to do is when I hit the play game button, you jump into queue. It's a lot of fun, guys. So, of course, you want to see if you guys can keep playing Infinite Crisis. If you don't have a beta key, though, you can, of course, tweet at MLG. You guys can ask questions. We'll be answering them on the show or doing shows about them specifically if it's related to a champion. So don't forget, you guys can tweet at MLG, ask your question away, and hashtag Infinite Crisis, and you'll have a chance to snag a beta key all for yourself.
That's awesome stuff there, guys. And, of course, if you want to hit us up on Twitter, I had a chance to run into someone on the queue the other night, and he recognized me from Crisis Watch, so big shout-out to that guy. Honestly, you know, if you guys want to hit us up, you can always do so. I'm at Goldenboy FTW on Twitter, and he is at Optimus Tom.
Yes, if you guys have any questions related to the Infinite Crisis game or the DC Universe itself, because it seems we're both fairly versed in the lore.
Dude, you surprise me like every episode with like something that you say. It's kind of blowing me away there, man.
I mean, specifically, I'd never actually read the Infinite Crisis block, but I went back and read Crisis on Infinite Earths and then Infinite Crisis to kind of pump myself up for it. So every now and then I just kind of be like, well, actually.
It's like, well, guys, you know, I mean, obviously, I know a lot about comic books, but of course.
No, seriously, comic book fanatics, they're awesome. They're not like that.
That's the best part about this game. If you are a person who enjoys MOBAs, you'll love the game. If you're a person who loves the lore and the DC Universe itself, this is a great time to see your characters interact with each other in ways that you might not have actually thought about. Now, Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's all about the universes colliding, allies and enemies having to group up together and fight.
Yeah.
And you just kind of imagine what it's like. The battles, of course, kind of give way to more storyline in the comic books. This is your chance to play out those battles. So for everybody out there who's just basically a comic book buff, if you don't have a beta key, at MLG, hashtag Infinite Crisis.
Word. So that's going to do it for the show, Tom. Are we all wrapped up, right? Because I proved that I'm amazing.
That's true.
Today.
You are amazing.
Don't. You got to bring it in, you know, the ego.
Just wait till we get like a support character. Then
oh
we'll back
God!
in.
When we get Ivy, I'm not ready for that.
I'm so ready for Poison Ivy. I hope someone asks to do that next week. Actually, at MLG hashtag Infinite Crisis.
Just to spite me. But it was a pleasure, Tom.
Definitely. We're gonna be back with more Crisis Watch. Same bat time, same bat channel here at MLG. 8 p.m. every Sunday on the weekend. Maybe start a little bit later or earlier, depending on how long the Planet Side show goes. But other than that,
Which I'm in as well.
Yes, you're holding us up every day.
Sorry, man. Planet Side. It's crazy.
All right, guys. Well, for myself, Optimus Tom.
And for Goldenboy FTW, that is me.
You guys keep protecting the DC Universe, and we'll see you on next Crisis Watch.